Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another week of Enjoy the Walk podcast. We had our midsummer break, Dante. You and I both put down the mic for a week and just decompress from this crazy golf world we find ourselves in. More and more golf news coming. But before we get to that, we've got an exciting interview with the shirts we're repping, the co-founder or the founder of Real Golfers clothing brand. Excited to have Henry McGannon on the show. Henry has just absolutely, I think, knocked it out of the park with not only the look of these shirts, but the feel, the style as well. So excited to talk about what got him into the industry and what makes him tick as far as what is up with these crazy flamingos on my shirt. Henry, excited to have you on the show, man. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I've been looking forward to it.
For sure. No, I know we've been talking for a little while now, and we finally got some shirts in our hands. I think the first question is, man, how does a guy kind of out of nowhere just bring a clothing company to fruition, and what brought you to thinking about Real Golfers?
Oh man, I love golf, and with that being said, I have 1,000 golf shirts, and it's actually if you guys have heard of the brand Fubu, have you heard of that brand? Daymond John, one of the sharks from SharkTank. So I was listening to a podcast about him, and he's the founder of Fubu, and he started that brand initially because the hip hop community in New York was underserved. They didn't really have their own brand. Like Nike and Adidas didn't really want to be associated with them at the time. And I was when I heard that, I kind of thought that the same thing is sort of going on right now with golf shirts. A lot of people can't afford to pay $90, $100 for a golf shirt that every day and want to look nice while they're playing. So that was kind of the inspiration there and that's also where the name Real Golfers comes from, because it's for people who love playing golf, and that's it. They just want to look good while they play golf, and they don't want to spend a ton of money.
Yeah, I mean, Dante, you and I laughed at it before we even got on the website here. And we were like, man, so many shirt companies are coming out, but they're $95, $100, and $125. It's like, even just as everyday guys, we don't want to pay that much to have 10, 15 shirts in our closet, but we still want to look good. So, Henry, I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's tough to look good and have options in the golf world right now. And I think that's the fun part about seeing you pop up is, golf shirts for $45. That's awesome. And then once on sale for even less than that. Where did you start though? I always love the backstory of how you even find out to get a comfortable shirt on people's backs, so you heard about Daymond John's story and then you're like, all right, where do I go from there? Where did you even start?
That's a good question. Basically just Google, trying to figure out what the best way to source these shirts is, whether it's coming from America or coming from China. And definitely the best way to make them affordable is to ship them in from overseas. So I hopped on the app called Alibaba and chatted with a bunch of manufacturers and sort of just got started there. It was actually kind of a funny story. When I got started, I was really excited to get going, get some shirts in my hands, see how it was, and I didn't know what I was doing at the time, so I didn't order samples. So I ordered 120 of these shirts that looked really great. And they showed up. I took them out of the box. They looked awesome. And I put on one of the XLs because that's the size that I wear. And it was like a crop top. And looked a little more closely at it. Asian sizes, which is really small if you didn't know. I didn't know. So basically just hopping on Alibaba, talking to manufacturers, and now I know to order samples.
It's really funny. We've had a bunch of different manufacturer folks come through here, whether it's golf shirts, golf shoes, different kind of odds and ends within the game. And everyone kind of tells us a funny story of like the first time they ever encountered their own product. And some of it's like, Eureka, we got it right. And others are like yours where it's like, oh, back to the drawing board. That completely blew up in my face. But so that's cool to see. Was it the solid shirts? I'm looking on your website here. And for those who maybe aren't familiar with your brand, realgolfers.co is where to go find these shirts. Were the solids the first ones that you really went with and said, that's going to kickstart my brand?
Yeah, exactly. The solids were the first ones I went with. I was like, I just need a shirt and people will buy it. I didn't know what I was getting myself into at the time. But I ended up loving the solid shirts, and a lot of people liked them too. They're really real, but they're just they're kind of simple.
I'm a big fan of the heather colors. I think Dante knows I like a blue heather or a gray heather. It's just got that little bit extra context, and it seems like that's what your style is kind
He's
of portray too.
he's heather
Yeah, it's
head to toe.
No, I love that. So, I mean, give us the backstory before the brand. You said you love golf, but what do you do day to day that really just kind of got you into the game and got you hooked for life?
I would say my dad got me into the game. He's a golfer, just like many other people. That's how they got in. Started when I was like 4 or 5 years old, really young. Played competitively throughout high school and college, and thought I would turn pro after college. Never did. There's way more good players than I thought there was, and they're way better than me. And now I'm able to stay around the game by caddying. I caddied all throughout college, up in North Carolina, and continued caddying after I graduated in 2019. Now I'm down at the Ocean Course doing it.
Gotta love Kiowa.
Yeah, nice.
That's I think when you talk about caddy spots to be at, that's kind of top of the list.
It's definitely up there. Yeah, I used to caddy at Pinehurst, which is great. You got a ton of good golf there, but it's kind of a shorter season. It's like 8 months there, so you really got to be prepared for the droughts, like the winter and the summer. You're not going to make much money up in Pinehurst, and that's one of the great things about the Ocean Course. We stay pretty busy year round.
I love that. The birds fly south with the warm weather, so you got to go there too.
Yeah.
You talk caddying, and I think as you look at your website, it's a pretty big portion of, I guess, what you guys portray at Real Golfers, having the caddy profiles on there. How did that maybe caddy mentality factor into the style and the brand overall that you wanted to bring to light?
Man, that's a good question. I would say with the summer collection shirts, they're vibrant, they're loud, and that's kind of like the caddies. A lot of the caddies, at least at the Ocean Course, they're really eccentric guys, interesting guys, fun guys. So I would say definitely the summer collection reflects the caddy culture at the Ocean Course. Loud, colorful, fun.
I love it. I love it. I know I've only used a caddy maybe a handful of times, Dante. I don't know how many times you've had a true caddy at a course.
Never.
But every guy I've ran into has just been, one that could tell stories for days, and definitely lights up your round. I think it takes a special kind of person to be a caddy, and like all of the best really human characteristic ways. They're always finding a way without even trying to bring a smile to people's faces.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're out there with the guy or the girl, whoever you're caddying for 4 to 6 hours, depending on how long it takes them to play. So you got a lot of time to chop it up, talk about this, talk about that. Mainly just talk about golf, but there's a lot of stories that go on out there.
I love it. So, I mean, you came out with a summer collection. It looks like you've had some maybe stripes or just, overall logo shirts before. What's the next step for you guys and you specifically as far as shirt design? Are we looking at a fall collection? What can we expect from Real Golfers? Because I think, Dante, you and I have got shirts in hand now, and I think we can speak for everyone in saying these things are comfy.
These are
I'd love to hear it.
I mean, like you asked how the shirt felt, and I said that it fit like a glove, and I stand by that comment. It really did. It really did. Right out of the package, I threw it on and texted Dalton. I said, dude, like, I got my shirt came in. I said, "Did you get yours yet?" And he said, "Nah, it's probably still in the mail." And I was like, "All right, well, I'll tell you, like, you'll really enjoy the shirt." I mean, you come to like quality shirt, obviously design comes, and then obviously design, color, however, like your personality is with the shirts. But then it really kind of comes down, like Dalton and I are big collar guys.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I noticed is how well like the collar sits, with it being like it sits like as if it's like a real thick collar, but it feels like it's going to be like heavyweight sitting on you, but it's not. And I think that's like one of the two biggest like things we have. And the fact that, I mean, it just moves with you. It's like, it feels like it's silky smooth. Felt like I was like comfortable and cool at the same time. Like if it was like a hot summer day and I'm out there, I don't feel like this shirt's going to, bother me down, and I'm gonna be sweating, and I'm gonna be like sticky and all that. I feel like it really
Dante,
breathes.
I said it was the weirdest thing, but it's the first shirt I actually think I'm looking forward to sweating a little bit in because I feel like I'm just
Yeah,
gonna feel
I'm
so
like
good
dancing
with a
in it
little
right
heat.
now. Yeah. And then like one of the biggest touch I really like you got right here, your little tag. You don't
Yeah,
see that quite often on many shirts. That's a real sweet touch right there.
yeah. I don't like giant logos being on the breast or on the sleeve, so I thought the little one right on the button placket was a nice little touch.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Now
well,
I'm assuming
I love it.
these are sublimated.
yeah, correct.
I noticed that immediately. I texted Don. I said,
Sold.
"Dude, these are sublimated." And I said, when it comes to like whether when I was playing my lacrosse days or playing golf or playing anything, when it comes to like your gear that you wear out for your game, for your match or whatever, you can do so much with sublimation. It's insane.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think if you're going down that path, if you're not going sublimation, I really don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah, I totally agree. With the sublimation, it doesn't really wear out. It doesn't
Nope.
fade. It definitely doesn't affect the stretch or anything like that. And we make sure we use a polyester spandex blend, which is what great brands like FootJoy and Peter Millar use. Because even though they're much more affordable than most golf shirts, we want them to be just as nice, the same quality. That's the most important thing to us, for sure.
And
Yeah, definitely.
I think Dante, you mentioned, FootJoy and Peter Millar in there. I love the price point of these shirts. I love the way they fit. I think they've got immediate competition with the FootJoy and the Peter Millars. What's the plan for you? I mean, you've got a really eccentric and awesome Instagram page. What's the plan to take on maybe down the road the FootJoys and the Peter Millars? Is it just continuing to build an awesome option base as far as shirts from the wild and eccentric Christmas in Julys and safari shirts, all the way back to kind of the classic traditional stripes and solids?
Right. Yeah, it's a good question. I would say our first and our biggest challenge as of right now is getting consumers and golfers to believe and trust that our shirts really are as nice as the more expensive shirts. Because when you see a shirt that's literally half the price, the first thing that comes to your mind is, oh, maybe it's not quite as nice. So that's our biggest challenge. And I think once we get past that, it should be pretty smooth sailing because, I mean, they really are just as nice. And basically just coming up with new and cool designs, keeping up with trends, and maybe getting ahead of the curve a little bit at some point.
And I mean, as someone who's got a design background, I'm always interested on what you think getting ahead of the curve looks like. Obviously, the price point is something that's super attractive. What do you see maybe in golf fashion, or even just in creating a good golf polo that might help you get ahead of the curve?
I see a lot of brands these days doing some cool stuff with the collars. Just the designs on the collars, little lines, and that basically just working on the designs, making them as unique as possible while still being not too loud and not too crazy on the course at the same time. There's a lot we have to learn going forward, but I think focusing on the designs is our biggest thing for sure. Making sure the shirts look really good because the quality is there. We just need to make sure the shirts look great.
I love that. And I think, whether it's Dante's Golf Safari or even the one Purple Flowers, they're definitely, they bring your eye to them rather than just saying, oh, that kind of fits in with the rest of the crowd. So I think these are super exciting shirts to have on the market already. And I'm really excited to see what the brain of Henry comes up with in the near future. So, is it just you designing these shirts, or are we looking at a team behind the scenes?
No, it's just me right now. I just hop on Adobe Illustrator and I get some. I definitely look at cool brands like Grayson is one that I draw a lot of inspiration from. I think they make some of the nicer shirts out there, and I just hop on Adobe Illustrator and play around with it, see what looks cool and what looks horrible, and try to pick the right ones.
I love that. And what's maybe one design that you look back on and say, man, maybe I should have just went with it instead of kicking it to the curb? Is there anyone that sticks out in particular?
Yeah, I had this one. I could go grab it, but it would take too long. It's just like it's got these crazy stripes on it all over the place, and I ordered it, and I got the samples from my manufacturer. And I liked it, and like 4 of my buddies were like, "No, you cannot do that. No one will buy that. Horrible." So I didn't go with it. But maybe going forward, maybe not the fall line, but next spring, I'll go with that one. It was just crazy stripes all over the place, old school, like 70s looking almost.
Hey, we're big fans of the old school. I know we're in the process of getting some Tyler's golf bags made, and I think we're in talking to him, we were like, let's throw it back and try and get it to look like one of the old Spalding bags or like a 1970s Ryder Cup bag. So we're big fans of that old school look too.
Ah, cool. I like to hear that. Yeah, the Tyler golf bags are sweet. I haven't seen one in person yet. Maybe I have while caddying, but I've checked out their Instagram. They look super nice, really nice.
Yeah, we're big fans of him. We've kind of worked back and forth with him a couple times, and just love the quality of him. But yeah, man, Henry, it's really cool to see new brands like this popping up in the market. I think just at the price point alone, we're for it, as we grew up in public golf and love just a good entry point that's not only available to guys that might be members and have some money, but available to someone just kind of trying to get started in the game too, and everyone in between. I think the price point is just incredible, and I hope you can stay there and still continue to create great golf shirts.
Oh, we'll definitely stay there. There's no worries there.
Love it, man. Well, tell everyone where you can get the golf shirts and where you can find your Instagram too, as I imagine that's probably the best way to continue to follow along with the brand, and any big new announcements coming for the late summer, early fall.
Yeah, definitely Instagram is a place to check us out and see what's going on. It's at RealGolfers Co. We're hoping to come out with a sweatshirt or quarter zip, like a Sherpa type quarter zip, or maybe a hoodie for the fall. We're working on some samples, trying to nail that down. So at RealGolfers Co. is the Instagram, and then if you want to check out the website, it's golfers.co. I went with .co because .com was like $30,000, and yeah, and .co was like $9. So that was a no-brainer. So it's realgolfers.co, not .com.
You're all about the budget. I like it.
You gotta be. I mean, when you're running a company on caddy tips, you gotta be all about the budget.
There you go. Well, hey guys, if there's another reason to go ahead and support realgolfers.co, go give a little bit more money than his caddy tips and support this awesome brand, because Dante, we can definitely say these shirts are super comfortable. I'm excited. I've already got my member guest partner convinced to let me wear this at the member guest. So this will be making an appearance on maybe day 2. I'm not sure. We might have to shuffle it around, but it's going to make an appearance out in Ocean City. So excited to, wear this shirt and see how it performs out in the course.
Yeah, for sure. Tell them to hit me up on Instagram. We'll get them one. You guys can there.
I love it. I love it, man. Well, Henry, absolute blast having you on the show. I appreciate you joining us. And again, guys, that's Real Golfers Co. on Instagram, as well as www.realgolfers.co to go ahead and grab yourself a shirt. So get out there, get yourself a shirt, and send us some pictures so we can see you guys in it. Send Henry some pictures. Continue to support the brand. So, Henry, thanks again, man.
All right. Thank you, guys. Great talk.
Thanks, man.